Hey everybody, Joe here. Today's day 3 of the 30-day drawing challenge. We're trying to develop we're trying to develop a daily drawing habit, and it's as easy as just setting your timer for 10 minutes, giving yourself some time, and just going to town. Today, my I don't want to say prompt, but my cue thing is we're gonna do crumpled up paper. Originally, I was thinking newspaper, but I really don't. I don't really don't get newspapers anymore. So just take yourself a sheet of white paper, crumple it up, and I just kind of crumple it up into a ball, and it's just going to give you some interesting shapes, some different things, some different lights and darks. Set it up next to your sketchbook. Make sure you've got your paper, your pens. Today we're still doing the pen because we don't want to avoid erasing. So with the crumpled paper, it's going to be interesting because I think there's a lot of hard edges and in terms of using the pen, but let's see what we can do. All right, so let's push play on our timer. So 10 minutes, and here we go. Okay, so I'm looking at the let's just kind of quickly, since we're doing this quickly, kind of go maybe kind of a little bit of a contour drawing, and the contour drawing is where you basically you don't pick your pen up and you're kind of just trying to look at the shape of the overall thing. So it looks like I didn't give myself enough space, but that's okay. So with this kind of a thing, it's like what's forward, what's back. I'm picking up my pen. Typically with like an actual contour drawing, you're trying not to pick up your pen too much because you're looking at the form and what it's doing. So with this, it's going to be kind of a real scribble right now. I'm just kind of looking at where the creases are, what kind of different shapes are developing. We're going to draw this a few times, I think, just because it's a lot of interesting stuff going on, like what's folded, what's in front, what's behind things. What's in shadow, so we can kind of see where some of the stuff, where the shadows are. Let's kind of play around with that kind of thing. Let's do the shape again. So let's think of the outside, the positives and negative shapes. So let's think of what's on the outside of the shape. So the outside of the shape is basically everything over here. The negative, I should say. The positive shape is the object itself. Did I get that right? Nope, they don't line up. That's okay. So, what's great about drawing paper too is that you're drawing a big mess. So how do you mess up a mess, right? It's already a mess. So not, at this point, you don't really want to worry too much about it. But it's kind of interesting to look at the different folds. We can go with do some cross hatching a little bit to kind of decide what's in front, what's in back. Try and follow the form, the angles. Don't forget, this is the negative shape here. So we can kind of give ourselves a little bit of a scribble. Some of this stuff, some of the shading and everything will get a little easier once we're using the pencils. But like I said, with the pen, I kind of want you to get away from having to worry about erasing. And that seems like something that, if you're kind of newer to drawing, can be kind of a crutch a little bit. And it's not bad. Erasing isn't bad. Don't get me wrong. I think what getting away from erasing can do is it help you develop a little bit of confidence in where your lines are going. You stop worrying too much about where actual. So we got this is kind of a wrong angle. A lot of the time what I'm going to do is basically kind of go back and forth with my eyes, back and forth, to kind of give myself a little bit of an idea of where my actual line should go. But I'm not worried about photorealism. I'm kind of just worried about what I'm really thinking about is the form, how this thing folds in on itself. You know, the lighting. Where are the darkest darks? And you can figure out where the darkest darks are by squinting. Give yourself a good squint, and it'll really kind of help you look at see what the contrast is. Some of this we can kind of figure out what's the shadow, so we can kind of pull it forward. My sketchbook kind of comes through here on it. Now, the one thing about this pen that I'm using is that it really is kind of difficult to get an actual, like, really thick, black shadow. You really have to, feels to me, you really have to come back and forth and really work a crosshatch in there quite a bit to get it to, but that's because I picked a really skinny pen. If you picked a thicker pen, it would be a little bit easier. Okay. Now, since we're only doing 10 minutes, you really have to decide how much you want to spend on each individual drawing. Getting it right. So now the other thing you can do is, just tilt your paper to a new angle, and then do the same kind of thing where we're looking at the shape. Let me think what's in front. First, this big wrinkle that comes through the front. And then what wraps around behind it. So this is the thing with grinding up your paper, is you can kind of see where you twisted it and what those folds are. You can really tell why you can get a sense of why people developed origami as an art form. You start to look into this paper and you see things. Like what's that? What's that shape doing? I'll have to figure out a way of. I'll have to take some pictures. I'll try and remember to take some pictures and add these in, so you can actually see what I'm looking at, as opposed to just what I'm drawing. And if I'm successful, there should be a picture somewhere in this guide. So I hope you're joining along. Don't worry so much about how I'm drawing or what I'm drawing. Make sure you're working on what you're drawing. If you've got newspaper, if you've got a crumpled piece of newspaper, great. If you got a crumpled piece of, you got like a candy bar wrapper, I think with white paper, it's just an interesting thing of you're really looking at the folds. And the same with newspaper, just because generally the newsprint and the typography on it probably isn't as distracting, just because there's so much of it. Whereas if you're drawing a label or something that's got, some kind of like an advertising on it, it might be a little bit more difficult, because you'll see the lights and darks of the printed image as opposed to just the lights and darks of the crumpled up paper. So let's see here. It's coming up here. These folds. It's interesting how it kind of folds in on itself. It's just kind of fun, really, just to let your pen kind of go all over the place. You're kind of looking at these forms, following it along. It's your own little journey of a pen. It's like a maze. And the thing is you don't even have to draw the whole piece of paper, really. Just kind of let yourself get in there. And I think you can kind of just have fun. Let's see if I give myself enough space. Kind of. There's definitely a lot of back and forth. I think if you wanted to make this look photorealistic, you might have to draw it multiple times to figure out what's the best shape. So I'm trying to look. I just glanced over. We're in the final stretch. Kind of give yourself a. There we go. Let's hit stop. All right, that's it. Put my pen down so I don't click it. That drives me a little nuts. I hope it doesn't drive you too nuts because I'll try not to do it. But anyway, 10 minutes, and you're drawing every day. If you didn't get a chance to do 10 minutes, if you did 5 minutes, if you did 2 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds, whatever, hey, you're drawing every day. That's awesome. Give me a high five. Awesome. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions about anything I'm doing, the tech tools and techniques, tomorrow, what we have on, let's look at my schedule here. Tomorrow is going to be using your phone camera or a camera to take pictures of your hand, and we're going to be drawing hands. So that's something that's it's always, if you're lucky enough to have two hands, it's always nice to be able to look at your other hand and draw from your hand. But let's tomorrow we're going to try and take some pictures and draw from what we took. So draw from the pictures we took. So if you've watched this long, please give me a like, share it with your friends. If anybody you think's trying to develop a drawing habit or is interested in goofy cartoon images, which I will be going through the process of showing you how to do some of that stuff. But right now we're in the midst of the 30-day drawing challenge, daily drawing. So like, share, subscribe, click the bell icon, and you'll be notified of when I post a new video. And currently, I'm going to be posting every day. So thanks for joining me. Love you all. Hey, if you can give somebody a reason to smile, you might just get to smile too. So thanks a lot. Take care. Bye.